Hi folks, Tim here. Welcome back to From 8 to 38, the Chronicles of a Young Entrepreneur. This chapter we are going to discuss dealer support, and in particular what that means for us is where we buy our larger machinery. Not necessarily a weed whacker, but something that's a little bit bigger. Our backpack blowers, walk behind blowers, mowers, tractors, things like that. Not really going to get into the trucks as much because I don't think that applies necessarily, and as I go on you'll kind of see what I mean about that. So our local dealer, as far as weed whackers, chainsaws, blowers, and our commercial zero-turn mowers, has retired. They retired just before Christmas of last year. Now, they told all of their professional customers early on in the year that they were going to be retiring. And the idea behind that was so that, kind of two things. Number one, so we could stock up on parts that we needed, especially the consumable ones, the blades, just parts that wear out, belts, the ability to do our own oil changes, so oil filters, hydro filters, air filters, oil, stuff like that. Really what I would call the consumables of our business. So those guys, after about 30 years I guess, decided to retire, and we missed them greatly. But as the one owner put it the other day when I saw him, he said we graduated from running the business to now finally being able to retire. And as far as that goes, that's probably about the best way I've heard that described. So they retired or graduated, in the one owner's words. However, them retiring kind of put a big hole in our landscape world here. And, you know, we all, or at least a lot of us, used them for weed whackers, chainsaws, leaf blowers, and zero turns. So when they told us last year that they were going to be going out of business, at that point I started scouting around for a new dealer to go to. And I didn't go to the new dealer really until after we knew for sure that they were definitely going to be closing. So I shopped around as far as different saws and weed whackers, and the one thing in particular that was really important for me to find was support for our zero-turn mowers. Now, weed whackers, for the most part, you get a year or two out of them and they're shot, right? We put hundreds and hundreds of hours on weed whackers every year. So for a $400 machine, if it's got 300 or 400 hours on it, it doesn't owe you a dime. So one of the things I was able to do a couple weeks ago was finally make it down to our not quite local. I actually skipped one and headed to one further away because I heard better things about them, and to our Exmark dealer. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar, Exmark makes the zero-turn mowers that we run, and by far my favorite one. I've run a few different ones. You could all argue the Chevy, Ford, Dodge, etc. argument, and the guys in the lawn service do the exact same thing with their zero turns. So some of it is preference, and some of it is, you know, the belief that this mower is the best that money can buy. And when I go for the best that money can buy, it means that I'm giving my clients the best that my money can buy. And I put the most reliable and the highest quality piece of machinery on their property that money can buy. And that is really important to me. So I went down to start a relationship with a different dealer. And that's where I really want to get into kind of the details of this video. When you go into a local shop, we call them mom and pop shops, right? Even though it's usually not mom and pop that are running them anymore, but the smaller hometown mower shops, the trimmer shops, the saw shops, often it's a one-stop shop for us. We can get our saws there, our blowers there, our trimmers there, and our mowers there, along with all the parts. So that's something really important to me. I wanted to know that the shop that I was going to be switching to after our local dealer retired was knowledgeable, but also had machinery that I wanted to run and stuff that I wanted to use. So I met up with my buddy and we made the trip down to Newburgh to Sherwood's Power Equipment. and they are the, like I said, kind of the local Exmark dealer. There's one closer, but we decided to go to this one. And I wanted to start a relationship with these guys before I walked in with a problem for them to fix. And that's something I really want to stress. Into lawn care, landscape, tree, whatever business you may be in, it always kind of irks me when somebody comes to me and says, well, my guy retired, so I'm going to you now. And it really makes you feel like you were the second best choice, or the third best, or the fourth best choice. And they didn't want to use you, but they have to because their best choice or their number one choice is gone. And many times, and I've seen it sitting in different shops over the years, people come in that have had zero relationship with a dealer and a service, and someone who provides service, and says, I'm your problem now. I have a problem, you have to fix it. That is not a wise thing to do, in my mind. It's something, like I said, I don't appreciate it when somebody comes to me and says, well, I guess we have to use you because there's nobody else. That doesn't make you feel great. It doesn't make you want to give that person the best service in the world. And, you know, there's other emotions that go along with it. So what I wanted to do was approach these guys with just very honestly and say, you know, hey, I run Exmark and Red Max and Husqvarna and steel chainsaws and, you know, a couple other things, and I am very, very dealer loyal. And so that's what I did with these guys. I walked in and I jokingly said, well, my guys are gone, I'm your problem now. That was one of the first things I said to the owner, and he kind of laughed about it, and then I expounded from there. I explained to them that I had been with the folks that retired for, I guess, 26 years or 27 years. So I had been with the guys that retired for a long time. Shortly after they opened their store is when I started going there. And I explained that to the guys at Sherwood's. I said, you know, they were more than just a business we went to. They became friends over the years. And I really appreciated the way they treated me. And I was very dealer loyal to them. So that was something that I really wanted to stress to this new company, was that I am brand loyal, yes, but dealer loyal even more, if that makes sense. And he understood it, and we chatted for a while, and I said, you know, I wanted to start a relationship before I came in with a problem. That way you knew who I was, and that way we're a known person when we come into your shop. And I thought that he really appreciated that. I think it went a long way. So one of the things that we did was, while I was there, I said, hey, while I'm here, I'm actually going to spend some money. So I bought a different brand weed whacker. We're trying a different brand weed whacker. I heard a lot of good things about the Echo weed whacker, so we're trying that instead of the Red Max. So I still have probably 10 Red Max trimmers in the small engine room, and they are our primary weed whacker every day, but I bought the Echo to try it. And I wanted to spend money while I was there, because that also makes me a paying customer at that point. And from a dealer standpoint, they probably don't make a whole lot of money on selling one weed whacker. I mean, let's be honest, how much money can you make on selling a $350 or $380 weed whacker? You can't make that much money as a dealer. But it gave some credibility to me as a business. And so we did that, went through the paperwork. I bought some parts while I was there for my Exmark, and we got done with all that paperwork. We chatted for a few more minutes. I said, I didn't tell you this right away, but I'm actually here to really spend money, not to just buy something that you're going to make $100 on. I said, we want to buy this new larger piece of equipment, and that is actually something for a future video. I'm not going to reveal that until it comes home, but it was a larger piece of machinery. And he said, oh, well, it just so happens we have one in stock. Now, I figured I'd have to order it, but they had it in stock, so we put a down payment on it right away, and we put a sizable down payment on it. which I think they really appreciated. Now, the whole reason behind this video is something that I really thought wasn't going to happen, happened. So that was Friday that I went down there about a week and a half ago. On Tuesday of this past week, the hydro motor on the left side of my X-Mark went down. Now, that is something that is under warranty, and it's something that the dealers take care of. That's not an oil change. It's not replacing a belt or, you know, something simple that any of us can do on a machine. That's a much more involved project. So I called them Tuesday afternoon and I said, hey, it's Tim. You'll never believe it, but the X-Mark went down. And he kind of chuckled, and I said, you know, I had no idea that this would be happening this soon. So I brought the mower down to them, and they very graciously accepted it. And that's what I kind of want to discuss here in depth in this video. If you have a piece of machinery, just because it's from a certain manufacturer doesn't mean that the private dealership has to accept your machine to work on it. And that's what I really want to get through in this video. If you go to Lowe's or Home Depot and you buy a John Deere or a Cub Cadet or an Aaron's or whatever else that you're going to buy there, and it breaks down, you're not going to bring it back to Lowe's and Home Depot to have them work on it, because they don't have a service department that can do it. You're going to bring it to a more local repair shop. And really, that's what's important to me is, so you saved $50 by going to Home Depot or Lowe's. Well, guess what? Now you bring it to your local mower shop or snowblower shop or whatever and say, hey, my snowblower blew up and you need to fix it. They have every single right to tell you, I'm sorry, go find somebody else. So that's something I really want everybody watching this video to understand. Support local, really important. And as far as us in the professional landscape service, guys, get out there, talk to your dealer. If somebody closes down, don't wait till you have a problem, because who knows, I may not have had a problem with that X-Mark for 2 more years. I really didn't think we'd see any major issues on it other than scheduled service of the hydro motors. I didn't think we'd see any major issues until I hit at least 1,500 hours. Well, I got 420 or 426, something like that, on the machine, and we lost the hydro motor. So you never know when it's gonna happen. So go to your local shop, especially if, you know, the place you've been going for years closed down. Go to your local shop, spend some money there. Don't walk in and buy stuff to do an oil change, right? That just kind of seems like a joke. I mean, honestly, to me, it seems like a joke. Go in there, spend some money. Don't do it when they're slammed. Don't do it when they're swamped. Try to do it before you have a problem. Now, one of the things that I did with these guys when I dropped my machine off on Tuesday, I thanked them multiple times for taking my machine. They didn't sell it to me. It's not their fault that my machine went down. They could very easily have said, Tim, we're not going to do it, go somewhere else. And they had every right to do that. Would it have been the right thing or the wrong thing? That's for you to decide. But I really believe that because I went down there, I did some legwork, I started a relationship with this dealer, I got treated a lot differently when I walked through the door with a problem. So, you know, that's really what we're getting at today. Treat your service people well. Whether it's a lawnmower or your larger leaf blowers, your tractors, whatever it is that you're doing, I tend to be dealer loyal. Sometimes I would say, yes, you will pay more at the dealer than you do somewhere else. But I found that over the years, it really evens itself out, and in the long run, you pay less money going straight to them. So when you go into these shops and you've bought the machine at Lowe's or Home Depot, they have not made a dime on that machine. And chances are, if you're bringing it to them, especially in the first year or two, it's probably going to be warranty work. They don't want to do it because it's already an underpaid type of work. They're not going to make a lot of money on it. It's agitating. And realistically, are you going to be a repeat customer? No, you're probably not going to buy any machinery from them. You're going to keep going to Lowe's and Home Depot where you can save 50 bucks. Well, guess what? If I can be so bold, it ain't worth the 50 bucks. It ain't worth the 100 bucks. It ain't worth $250 to go to the big box store. Go to little mom and pop stores. They're going to take care of you in the long run, right? Really, really important. And I've dealt with it over the years with some of my clients, and I'm sure some of you watching have dealt with it with some of your clients, right? We do a lot of things for a lot of people, and every now and then it'll be a job that you bid, even though you're already working on the property, you bid, and the homeowner or the client doing their due diligence calls a couple other companies for a quote. Now that makes a lot of sense, especially when you're doing some larger projects. You want to call some of the other companies for quotes. I understand that. But we have lost jobs over $100 or over $150. And it's not $100 every week. It's $100 on one project. And we've lost jobs over that. So just something that irks me, and I figured I'd throw that in there. But that ties in with the dealer thing a little bit. You know, if Lowe's and Home Depot is selling a tractor for $19.99 and the local mower shop is selling it for $2,099, go to the local shop, because those guys are the ones that are going to take care of you in the long run. And realistically, again, I've found over the years, even if the dealer is a little bit more expensive on something, it often comes out in the wash in the long run. So just a few thoughts on dealer support and the importance of starting a really good relationship with whatever dealer you plan to use for your machinery. And the other thing is, please remember, when you go in there with a problem, it's most likely not the dealer's fault that your machine broke. It's not the fault of the guys that retired that the hydro motor in my mower went. And it's certainly not the fault of the guys who I just brought it to fix it that it went. That's a manufacturing problem. So what good is it if I get mad at the dealer and yell at them? It doesn't do anybody any good. So again, just a few thoughts on dealer support and the importance of it. Thanks for watching from 8 to 38, the Chronicles of a Young Entrepreneur. Check back every single Monday at 8 a.m. for a new video. Thank you. Have a great day.